Does he still have the asset?
Yes, our source confirmed it.
And we will be ready.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new video for The Mandalorian Season 2 Dark Troopers that they just revealed at the end of last week's episode. So if you're brand new to the channel, I'm doing videos for all the episodes. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. We'll do a new giveaway for Disney Plus memberships. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you think they're going to do with these troopers. Careful for spoilers from everything that's happened on The Mandalorian so far. We'll just do top 10 WTF and Easter eggs as we go along. Starting with number 10. Moff Gideon reveals that he's planted a new tracking device on the Razor Crest so that he can track Mando and the child, or Baby Yoda, whatever you want to call him, and snatch him back so that he can complete more testing to perfect his experiments in creating the new Dark Troopers that we learned from Dr. Pershing's recording earlier in the episode. He says they need more Baby Yoda's blood in order to continue the experiments because the last time they had him, he was so small physically that he wasn't able to drain very much without killing him. He also referenced using test subjects with high M count, M standing for midichlorians, because Yoda's species has an extremely high midichlorian count naturally, all members of his race, not just Yoda himself. And yes, the child is not Yoda himself. This is taking place after Return of the Jedi. Yoda has already died. This is just another child of Yoda's race. That's why we call him a Baby Yoda. Make all the prequels, midichlorians jokes you want. They tried to reference it in a very roundabout way, but it was pretty obvious what they were trying to talk about. The whole idea, though, is that the higher the midichlorian count a being has, the more innate connection to the Force that they have, potentially making them much more powerful. But as we've seen with Baby Yoda, just because he's extremely connected to the Force and powerful, there are other more powerful beings that are more trained. It's just that because of his physiology, he has a much higher theoretical potential for power. It was the same thing with Anakin Skywalker, midichlorian count off the charts. If he hadn't been mained by Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith, post all the high ground memes, he could have potentially become even more powerful than Master Yoda. So it's just easy to understand why Moff Gideon wants to use the Force as a concept as part of his experiments in creating these new Dark Troopers. It also seems like they're incorporating some aspects of the Purge Troopers from the Force Unleashed video game too, with how Darth Vader repurposed converted clone troopers. The Purge Troopers were different from the Dark Troopers though, completely different concepts from different parts of the Star Wars legends. Number 9. Dark Troopers are a huge Easter egg for the Star Wars Dark Forces video game from back in the day. Total classic. Most of you probably either played it or some version of it or at least knew about it or have seen videos about it. The main character of that game was Katan. It took place during the timeline of the original trilogy. No idea if this means that we'll actually get Katan showing up on the series, but he's fair game. They can do anything they want. They can pluck anything out of Legends canon and make it official new canon again. They did the exact same thing with Grand Admiral Thrawn during Star Wars Rebels. Back when Disney bought Lucasfilm and Star Wars, they said that the Legends stuff, the novels, the video games, everything from before, besides the movies in the Clone Wars series, was no longer canon, and the new official canon would just be the new Disney-produced Star Wars material, TV shows, books, new video games, in addition to the classic movies in the Clone Wars series. You get the idea. But what happened was Dave Filoni, who ran Star Wars Rebels, the Clone Wars, would cleverly pluck little aspects and characters and things from Legends and put them in the Clone Wars and Rebels, making them new canon again. So Grand Admiral Thrawn was just the biggest example of that. Now it seems like they're doing the same thing with the Dark Troopers from the Dark Forces video game. It was so long ago, I can't remember if I played the DOS version of that or if I played the Windows version, because the transition to the Windows operating system is kind of fuzzy in my mind. I was so young at the time. So you can say now that at least some of the aspects of the Dark Forces video game is canon again, but maybe if they're doing this, we'll finally get them canonizing some more Shadows of the Empire stuff in Dash Rendar. Number 8, the actual Dark Troopers on the show seem like they're mostly inspired by the design of the Phase 2 Dark Troopers, which are just evolved versions of the original project. They also had even more upgraded Phase 3 Dark Troopers in the game that started to look more like Star Wars version of Cylons. But that's basically what the Dark Troopers are. They're kind of like Cylons, cybernetic hybrid stormtroopers. They're made from the bodies of former clones, upgraded with cybernetic technology like Darth Vader's Sith Tech armor suit. It's all just designed to make them much more powerful and way harder to kill than normal stormtroopers. Remember all the jokes from the past few seasons on The Mandalorian and how terrible stormtroopers' aim is and how incompetent they are? Well, Dark Troopers are the answer to that. And I know there were a lot of questions about the failed clones in the tanks and Snoke from The Rise of Skywalker with the Snoke clones and the Sith cloning tanks and Emperor Palpatine's clones. Don't worry, I'll address that in a second too. That's kind of a separate thing. But originally, the whole concept for the Dark Trooper project within the Empire was the brainchild of someone called General Moff, who just really loved the idea of close combat with the rebellion and thought that that was a better route to go than super weapons like the first Death Star. So he started the Dark Trooper project on a customized capital ship where he produced them and experimented on them, the same way it seems like Moff Gideon is doing with his capital ship. The Phase 2 ones that it looks like Moff Gideon has in the original video game were rolled out right after the destruction of the first Death Star, just to give you an idea for where they fit in the timeline. Number 7, the reason why they're adding Baby Yoda's blood, his high midichlorian DNA, to the experiments is because they're trying to upgrade them even more. Like, why not take all the best attributes from around the galaxy and combine them to create invincible stormtroopers? That's the whole point of the Dark Trooper project. Moff Gideon is just taking it a step further. And because they're a combination of human body parts with special exoskeletons and cybernetic enhancements, they're much easier to control than traditional clone troopers or regular stormtroopers. So that's why it's important that they have all this cloning technology. Number 6, the whole scene with the failed experiments in the cloning tanks is just meant to be a reference to the failed Snoke clones from The Rise of Skywalker and just generally a reference to the clones from Attack of Clones on Kamino, because Dr. Pershing wears the Kamino cloning insignia on his Imperial uniform, meaning that they're trying to use cloning to try and perfect subjects to add to the Dark Trooper armor exoskeletons. That's why they're making all these reveals in the same episode, so that you know why they wanted Baby Yoda in the first place, why they're experimenting with new clones and Force-sensitive test subjects, and combining a lot of different concepts and Easter eggs from the movies, the TV shows, and the video games to get to their Dark Trooper project. So Moff Gideon is kind of like a new version of Darth Vader combined with this General Moff from the Dark Forces video game. I'm sure they're going to canonize a whole bunch of other deep cuts from the Legends stuff, so they'll just be adding to this season to season. It'll just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper as we go along. I just love the idea that it seems like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are such big fans of the classic video games. Like, we even had a Knights of the Old Republic Easter egg with the Crate Dragon in Episode 1. That was written by Jon Favreau, so you know he was a fan of that video game. Number 5, the other thing that he says at the end of the episode is that he'll be ready for them, talking about both Mando, Bo-Katan, and the Night Owls with the other divisions of Mandalorians she potentially commands. Because now he knows that she got away with the ship and the weapons at the end of Episode 3. We'll be ready for them. What he means is that they're going to roll the Dark Troopers out to fight them in a sort of reverse twist on the big Mandalorian assault from Season 1, Episode 3, when all of the Mandos came to save him and Baby Yoda. They were so powerful, they steamrolled all the bounty hunters in the streets. It was a badass scene. Now just imagine the dark version of that where Moff Gideon kind of steamrolls all the Mandalorians in Mando with the Dark Troopers. In number 4, I've also seen a lot of comments and questions about whether or not the Dark Troopers' armor is made of Beskar, because back in Season 1 they revealed that the Empire stole all the Beskar from Mandalore when they took the planet in the Great Purge. And even though they treated Mando's bounty like it was an enormous amount worth a priceless sum of money, everyone, like the Aqualish that the Mando encounters, has been trying to steal the Beskar from him because it's worth so much money. That amount of Beskar represented a tiny fraction of the amount that the Empire had, so it would make sense that Moff Gideon has a ton of it and could use it to further upgrade the Dark Troopers. So now it makes more sense, that scene from Episode 3 where Mando uses himself as a human shield for Bo-Katan and the Night Owls and just runs the gauntlet to take out the Stormtroopers, soaking all their blaster fire. And yes, it does look like it hurts him, but the Beskar is so strong that the blaster shots just bounce off of him like it's no big deal. They probably had that scene to let you know how strong Beskar is so they can do a big reverse twist when the Dark Troopers roll out and the same thing happens with them. So heading into the last couple of episodes, they're just trying to hype up the Dark Troopers as being nearly invincible. Number 3, this is where the Jedi and former Jedi characters like Ahsoka can help out. Beskar armor is naturally resistant to lightsabers. That's the whole reason the Mandalorians created in the first place, after the early battles in the Jedi-Mandalorian Wars thousands of years ago. But when normal troops, even badass ones like Mandalorians, aren't enough to take down Moff Gideon's Dark Troopers, you need even more powerful people to help out and more powerful techniques. That's why you would go to the Jedi, and anybody that could swing a lightsaber, whether or not they're fallen Jedi, former Jedi, or anywhere in between. I don't know how many episodes Ahsoka is supposed to be in this season, but even if she herself doesn't get into any lightsaber fights, she can still give Mando the advice he needs to fight Moff Gideon's forces. In number 2, really important, you also have to remember Mando, Bo-Katan, the other Mandalorians don't know anything about the Dark Trooper project, so Moff Gideon still has the element of surprise, and because regular stormtroopers are so squishy against them, they're heading into a fight against him expecting to steamroll his forces. Which is where we get to our Empire Strikes Back style ending. In A New Hope, the rebellion humiliated the Empire by destroying the Death Star, but when we get to Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader and their forces proved that they weren't all incompetent. They were a real threat. They captured Han Solo, froze him in carbonite, he cut Luke's hand off, and they almost destroyed the rebel fleet. So Mando humiliated Moff Gideon at the end of Season 1, now it's Moff Gideon's turn to strike back at the end of Season 2. And as for the Snoke, Rise of Skywalker, Emperor Palpatine cloning experiments connection, yes, the theme music during this scene does sound similar to the John Williams Snoke theme music, and obviously they played it again during Rise of Skywalker when they passed by the Snoke tank of clones. When Emperor Palpatine said he made Snoke, he literally meant he made Snoke, like he was a cloning experiment with Force-sensitive DNA and midichlorians. But I think that's where the connection ends, just sort of a surface level connection they're trying to make in cloning Force sensitives, Moff Gideon for his Dark Trooper project, separately from what they were doing with Snoke and Emperor Palpatine. But number 1, early prediction for The Mandalorian Season 2 ending, Empire Strikes Back style, Moff Gideon uses the Dark Troopers to trash Bo-Katan, the Mandalorians, and Mando himself. And also before the Dark Trooper reveal, I'd expected Boba Fett to play a role in that. That's still possible because Mando has Boba Fett's armor, and the way they ended Season 2 Episode 1 implied that Boba Fett was now tracking him, waiting for an opportunity to take back his armor, and possibly collect the huge bounty on the child. But there's a whole bunch of unresolved, hanging plot threads to tie up before the end of the season between the Dark Troopers, Boba Fett, and Baby Yoda, so everyone post all your theories in the comments. My full Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 5 video is going to post on Friday. It does seem like that's going to be the Ahsoka episode, so I'll do some more bonus videos for her this week as well. Congratulations to the giveaway winner from my last big Star Wars video, Kenneth Dissinger. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here for my full Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 4 video, and click here for my Mandalorian Season 2 Ahsoka Tano video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. This is the way.